going on there, guys? We back with another one. We got a lot of things to talk about pertaining to Ja Morant. This isn't a negative report or anything. This is just the status of things, advice Chris Paul has offered, and Skip Bayless, talking down on Ja. He's facing a little backlash for his take. Now, first of all, we got Isaiah Thomas talking about the Derrick Rose effect on Ja Morant. He's like, watch what type of season Ja has next year with D Rose connected to his hip all year long. Once he gets off suspension, he will have his best season yet. That D Rose presence is going to have him on some MVP-ish watch. And Ja quoted that. He said, "You too loud, OG. They gonna feel me for sure." And that can be accurate. They also brought in Marcus Smart for leadership. But Derrick Rose, I remember one time Ja Morant saying Derrick Rose is very quiet about how he does things and how he has to celebrate and do different things. So maybe he'll be, still be himself, but have more of D Rose, demeanor going forward. I think that's a job that everyone could start to embrace. And I think also just from the standpoint, like Memphis loved Derrick Rose like they love Ja, especially back the Memphis Tigers, at their peak with John Calipari. That was the Memphis team with D Rose, Chris Douglas Roberts, Joey Dorsey, all those guys, and they made it to the championship game, and Mario Chalmers hit that three to send it into overtime. Now that season was taken away from them, so if they would have won it, they would have lost that title anyway. But the point remains that Memphis loves D Rose. And I think D Rose being at an MVP level before being a person that Ja's often compared to now, I think that'll bode well to grab Ja's ear. If he was ever going to listen, this is the perfect guy. And not only because of where he was as a player, but his standing in Memphis history. Now, Chris Paul also offers some advice. Let's check that out, and then we're going to check out what Skip Bayless had to say, and I'll be back.
You were very generous when you talked about Ja Morant in terms of how he went to your camp. What would you say to him in a reachable, teachable moment?
As I tell most guys, is keep the real ones as close as possible. You know what I mean? And try to block out the outside noise, because in the world of social media and all this stuff, everybody gonna say what you should do or what they think they would have did or whatnot. So just try to keep that tight-knit group close to you. Just drown out the noise, because I think Ja will be back stronger and better, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Seriously, I hope I'm very wrong about this, but to me it looks like business as usual. Same time next year, ho-hum, another little suspension, another speed bump. He'll be back in early December, somewhere around December 10th, after his 25-game suspension. It'll take a little while for him to ease back into the flow, to play his way into shape, to get up to speed. But then, I believe, hope I'm wrong, Ja will go right back to being same old Ja. Living life the very same way he's lived it since he arrived as an NBA star. Hope I'm wrong. But I do not think this punishment was anywhere near severe enough to force him to get the help that he says several times that he needs to get, to force him to grow up, to force him to give up all the old off-the-court lifestyle, all the old friends who clearly were not good for him. I figure right away when he comes back, December 10th-ish, he'll go right back to "it's a parade inside my city," Ja.
So as far as CP3 advice, when he says keep real ones around him, I don't want to speak for him. What I think he's referring to is keeping people around him that has his career, in their best interest, not the ones that are promoting the street life and gang violence and all that type of stuff. And I'm hoping that's what he means anyway. Real ones, that's kind of vague. And I think Chris was just trying to give, the most single layered answer that he could, and probably has spoken to Ja in private. Maybe he has, and maybe that's why he worded it that way, because real one is one of those definitions that's fluid. A lot of people have a different interpretation on what that means, and I think in Ja's case, a real one needs to be one that can tell him the truth when he's messing up and someone that has his career at the forefront of like their priorities as far as, you know, tell them, man, don't mess that up. You about to squander this, you about to squander that. Don't point the laser at that gun. I mean, at that, don't point the laser at that bus. That's whack. And he needs to be able to take that type of criticism, because a lot of times you'll see people get money, get this status, and they'll remove the people that will tell them the truth out their life and surround themselves with people that tell them what they want to hear. And I hope Ja's learning from that now, because he still has the opportunity to come back and do great things. Skip Bayless, a lot of people's upset that they feel like he's down in a black man, and you know, but what he just went through with Shannon Sharp and being fresh off of that leaves a nasty taste in people's mouth about him. But you know, Ja's opened himself up for people like Skip Bayless to have an angle to give a take like that, and I can't even say it's unfair at this point, because I do think the punishment was a little. It's not one you send a message with, right? You are in a similar situation. Yes, it was a lighter, but you know, that information should have been provided right up front, and it just shouldn't have been done. The optics of it. I mean, you have a super soaker or something like that. That's just ridiculous to think he's gonna do any harm. But you don't have anything that looks like a real firearm, and you flash it in a manner like you with the gang, like he did. So I think he's opening himself up for Skip Bayless's and people like that. At the end of the day, though, Ja can shut everybody up and just go out there, play, be himself, still celebrate, do whatever he wants, but go under the leadership of D Rose. Because remember, D Rose had that situation off of the court too, where I think with the young lady, and then an attorney ended up dying at their house, and his situation was really serious and could have went another way if they would have ruled differently. But, you know, take your advice from D Rose. I saw some of the people from O Block, they were mad at D Rose for paying for Lil JoJo's funeral. You know what I'm saying? And they said he is a GD for real. So I don't know, you know, D Rose is really from that, and people never looked at it like, was D Rose front? Because D Rose never played that card on the court. D Rose was just stone cold basketball player, and he didn't overly embrace that. And that's what people saying about Ja. That's how they know he not really like that. That's where that comes from. Because D Rose, he was literally from that and tried to show every other side of himself but that, you know, to the public. Now, they had the photos when he was in college throwing up GD, all that, but he didn't try to bring it to the forefront willingly. So I think that's a good person for him to be mentored by. Work ethic, different things, and, you know, working out with D Rose, that's going to be good for him. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, though. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.